What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nintendo Land. I'm still on vacation for the next couple of days, and I just got blown out of nowhere with this direct stuff and a big direct happening. And then a leak happens about a big game coming out that I definitely want to cover. So I'm going to cover it a little bit in this video. I'm not able to cover it as well as I normally am, so this is just a quick kind of analysis that I could do right here on my phone via iMovie. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'm not going to talk too much longer, but I believe the game, this is before it's even like revealed, I'm giving you this. It's like Kirby Dreamland Discovery or Kirby Discovery of the Stars, something like that. So I'm going to be showing you guys all the details and things that you may have missed in the video. Once again, I'm sorry for the quality if it's not that well. This is all from my phone that I can do right now from vacation. I'll be able to talk about it more and cover it more when I get back. But this is everything that you probably missed within the trailer and all the little details here and there. I hope you guys enjoy. The trailer first starts off by showing us the inside of a mall, and it's all abandoned with moss growing everywhere and grass and vines hanging off of the walls and the doors. We see a couple of posters, maybe they're movie posters or food court posters, but then we get a look at the actual food court with escalators going up to the second floor. It's just some garages shut in order to get into the stores. Everything's shut down, everything is ruined, and we see nothing but just chairs and debris laying everywhere. This next scene, we get to see the outside of the city itself, and it's also covered in moss, grass, trees, and vines everywhere. Like the city has just been left to rot. And we see an airport tower kind of in the background if you can look very closely, but everything else is just grassy area covered in vines and like as if some type of new civilization moved in after the old one collapsed. We then get a scene of our good old hero Kirby waking up, stranded, it seems to be on some type of beach. He wakes up and he starts exploring into this jungle, which seemingly leads into this city in ruins. It seems like he's got washed up on some type of new island, and this may not have anything to do with Dreamland whatsoever. We then get Kirby running into the city out of that same jungle, apparently, and the game is called Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Yes, it's completely different from probably what I said in the beginning of this video. Please ignore that. That was recorded from a lot earlier. We see more buildings and towers and trees everywhere, and we also see a giant, once again, airport control tower at the top left of the screen, which shows that this is a full city to explore. Probably not as wide open as New Donk City, but probably level-wise will take us to different parts of the city, and maybe even one of the levels is at the top of that tower. Kirby then seems to enter inside of the mall that we seen at the very beginning, and you can tell that this is a full 3D Kirby game finally. And this time, it seems that the camera is going to be behind Kirby, following behind him, similar to a game like Mario 3D World and Mario 3D Land. The camera does shift perspectives every now and then in order to show Kirby going into a different direction, but it looks like we won't be able to control the camera for Kirby. As Kirby runs through the mall, we can once again see everything in ruins and debris everywhere with those same posters. There's a poster of two little dogs. I don't know if they have a reference in the game somewhere, but also lots of other food posters. We see a store with a chair inside, like a furniture store. But as Kirby goes to go up the escalators, you'll see two brand new enemies. They seem to be some type of cat, dog, fox-like creature, but they are enemies as one of them is chasing after Kirby as he does a single jump over top of him and running up the escalator. Now, if you look far in the background, you can see some type of giant monkey or ape sliding down the railing in the background, which we will actually see is a boss battle later on in the trailer. Continuing on with Kirby's surroundings, we can see some stars in the right corner of the room, which are probably just more collectibles that Kirby normally has within his games. We then have Kirby going through some type of roadway, maybe leading up to the city or leading out of the city, and it's also in rubble. Something has destroyed this road, whether it's the giant ape or something else that has gone through and ruined this whole city. Kirby then comes up to a whole bunch of metal scaffolding and some type of construction as if something's being repaired, whether it's the tunnel or the bridge above the tunnel. But as you can see, the camera follows Kirby and pans slowly with him as he is entering the new area. We then see a hothead enemy, a returning enemy throughout the Kirby franchise in the entrance of the tunnel, right where Kirby is about to enter. And we see a Cappy enemy to the right, which is the mushroom. Kirby then makes his way up. It seems to be a giant tower, which could be the airport control center that I mentioned earlier. As he's kind of making his way upward, we see another returning enemy. The Kabu makes his return, which seems to be a giant one going back and forth in and out of the alcove of the tower. Now, this next area, I don't know if it's the same world because it looks like it also has been in ruins, is some type of amusement park. There's a Ferris wheel, roller coasters, and everything that you can think of. We have Kirby being chased by those same cat/dog enemies that we've seen before, and also 3 little ducks, which seem to be something that he's collecting as they're following after him and probably aren't enemies. We get to see a statue of a planet and a rocket, and those 2 puppies that we've seen on many posters inside of the food court of the mall. We also see some type of circus tent and lots of business buildings circling the park, but this is pretty awesome. It's a whole amusement park within a Kirby game, and I'm sure it's going to be a very fun area to explore. Kirby then uses a warp star to go throughout the streets of the abandoned city, and you'll get a quick scene of a little gate that Kirby goes through and a Poppy's Bro Jr. enemy up on the platform above, which seems to be where he's about to go. Kirby is once again going up against these little fox creatures, and as he sucks one up, he gets a star coin. I don't know what this little orange star coin does, and if he collects them, he gets some type of reward or something if he turns them in, but he seems to be able to suck enemies in, pivot, and spit them in a different direction. We also see a Sir Kibble Knight enemy in the background, which Kirby will suck up later on in the trailer. Kirby then sucks up some type of giant new bull enemy and gets a green star coin out of it. I guess because it's a bigger enemy, he gets a little bit more of a reward from it. We also get some more of those fox enemies either sleeping or playing in the background, which pretty much shows that you can go explore a lot more than just the area that Kirby is currently in this trailer. Kirby is now on the beach with a giant-headed alligator enemy coming out of the water to chomp Kirby. Now, Kirby is headed for some type of warp star on the island by the Sir Kibble enemy, and if you can see in the background in the far right, there's some type of collectible for Kirby to collect. Now, in every Kirby game, there's some type of amount of collectibles in each level that Kirby must collect to move on, and maybe there's 3 of them in this world or level that he has to collect, and that could be won by the pirate ship. It's also worth noting how good Kirby looks with the water dripping off of him, and he's all shiny from it. It's just a nice little detail. Kirby then makes his way up the side of some type of abandoned building or factory with cannons firing at him either way as he climbs a ladder. You can see small islands off in the background with some type of tower. I don't know if that's where Kirby is going or that's where he's been, but that is something in the background of detail. Maybe it's a way off the beaten path that Kirby can take for a collectible. There's also some star blocks to the bottom left and some bomb blocks to the bottom right, which normally leads to a hidden collectible or some type of new path being opened. We then see a giant porcupine enemy that tries to hit Kirby, and Kirby throws up a block in order to protect himself. It's not sure if he eats this, will he turn into Needle Kirby or what? We don't really get to see that far. Kirby then goes into some type of funhouse, probably at the amusement park world, and 2 cardboard aliens jump out to scare Kirby. And there's a Sir Kibble Knight in the background, which seems to be blocking the entrance to where Kirby needs to go, and a can laying on the ground. Maybe Kirby can pick it up or kick it at enemies or something, but it seems to be some type of funhouse that Kirby's in. Also, Kirby is doing some type of dodge backwards where he does a backflip, landing on his hands and then back on his feet, which is completely new. Now, maybe this is kind of just a dodge roll that he normally has in the 2D games that you just can't see him do anything super spectacular because it's in 2D, but now in 3D, he does a dodge roll backwards, which is pretty cool to see. Kirby then seems to make his way towards the end of a level, where there's a cage of Waddle Dees for him to collect. This kind of indicates that maybe King Dedede's in trouble and his army is as well, and Kirby has to collect pieces of the army, probably even Meta Knight, in order to, save them from some type of new threat that all got lost on the island. Maybe they all took a trip and got lost on this island, and Kirby has to collect all of his friends back in order to save the day. We then finally get to see Kirby use a copy ability as he sucks up a Blade Knight and gets his Sword Kirby ability, which means, yes, there's copy abilities even though this is a 3D Kirby game, which is cool to see Kirby use all these abilities in the 3D space. We see Kirby used it to chop up some type of giant new snake enemy in a desert area, which seems to have a lot of destruction as well, as if this whole island is just under destruction. As you can see, smoke in the air and dust flying everywhere, and nothing but ruined parts and pieces everywhere in the sand. There's also some type of new enemy or something moving in the background. I can't quite make it out of what it is, but yeah, I just thought I'd point it out. Back into the funhouse, we see Kirby using a spin attack with his sword to hit a bunch of ghost creatures that actually appear from Triple Deluxe, which also was in a ghost house level. We get the underwater coral enemy on one little island in this scene, but the main part of the scene is Kirby getting the cutter copy ability, which now allows him to use it almost like a boomerang and bring in things that are around him. He could never really do this before besides cut enemies and ropes from far away, but this time he can grab items from afar and bring them in as he brings in a giant green crystal, which, once again, I have no clue what this is. This could just be a collectible. Getting like 100 of these little crystals gives you an extra life. Who knows at this point? We also see old factories in the background of the water and little whirlpools in the water, which maybe Kirby can use to either maybe go underground or is warped to a new area upon this factory kind of wasteland. We then see Kirby use Needle to roll over enemies and stick them to him and break open an area with a lot of cardboard boxes, which has a green coin hidden behind it, another collectible for Kirby to get. We then see Fire Kirby that lights up a lamp and reveals some extra coins and tokens for him to collect, once again part of the collectible count. Now, there might be a whole bunch of things like this, which actually reminds me of Kirby 64, which means you need specific copy abilities to do specific things within the world. In the snow biome, we get to see the penguin snow enemies return from past Kirby games, and some type of new robot type of boxed enemy on the right. I don't know what that is, but it seems to be a robot box with some type of horn that he's blowing. And also those little flowers that Kirby can go over for some collectibles to pop out. We also get Ice Kirby skating around and freezing the penguin enemy, and once again, snowballs falling from the background right beside another bomb block, which is going to take out all the blocks on that back wall, making it a safer route for Kirby to travel. And last but not least, we get to see a boss battle, and it's the giant monkey that we got a glimpse of at the very beginning inside that mall that we saw in the background. He has a necklace around his neck, which actually is a cage homing some more Waddle Dees for Kirby to save, and maybe he's the reason why everything's in ruin in the first place. Kirby must either use his copy abilities or the stars that come out after he attacks, which is really cool to see a 3D Kirby battle. You can just kind of beat on enemies now in a 3D environment, and it just looks so cool to see for Kirby. I don't know, this is just so exciting to me. But I don't know if this is the end of the area or the world that Kirby's in for the kind of city world, but I love it. It's a great looking boss battle, a great looking area, and this game is going to be a lot of fun. But that was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, things you missed. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this game and if I missed anything else. Once again, guys, I'm sorry if this audio and quality comes out kind of different than normal and not as good as normal. Once again, I am ending my vacation right now, but I had to cover this while I could. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please, please, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo and all things Kirby all the time. Thank you, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya, guys.